Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. In today's episode, you guys, we're going to take on the Scientology parents and the corrupt corporate image laundering media. Today, shout out to the subscriber that sent us this video to do a reaction to it, asking us about the Scientology parents. Something that you guys know we speak a lot about on this channel. See, the Scientology parents are the who and the why to why kids were trafficked. As much as everyone makes a lot of hoo-ha that, oh yeah, David Miscavige, he was really horrible and he really did horrible things. Who do you think plays underage children right on the lap of David Miscavige and all his disgusting, corrupt surrogates? So the corporate media has been on an all-out blitz to suppress the truth, to launder the truth, to provide the Scientology parents with a way for them to throw some soap and bubbles as if that launders the facts, as if them pretending that they are the victims, all of a sudden, the same parents that were the groomers, the same parents that forced L. Ron Hubbard's rhetoric down children's throats, are the ones running to the media to really go blah, 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 but we were such victims. Oh my God, you have no idea. David Miscavige, oh my God, you have no idea. We all really thought we were going to save a world inside of disgusting hotels. And that's what needs to be confronted. First and foremost, these Scientology parents and what in the hell they all normalized. The culture didn't exist in a vacuum. There was not a one-man show of abusers helping themselves to underage kids, having complete unfettered access to them thanks to the parent that dumped them there. So let's take a look at the most thiety-weedy reporter to ever have taken a breath on this earth. This man, Dan Harris, couldn't be more thiety-weedy, couldn't be the one that, secured an interview with our Ghislaine Maxwell, Debbie Cook. If you haven't checked out that video, is in my videos. Debbie Cook goes to Dan Harris. Oh my God, Dan. David Miscavige, you have no idea how horrible he was. Meanwhile, she was recruiting underage kids to be stuck in her disgusting hotel weekly, daily. She had orders to all of the Scientology recruiters. Go get me more kids. Go get me more underage kids. You really have to make a quota. You really have to do 20 kids this week. Remember, the kids are the ones who could not consent. The adults were sold all kinds of BS. And you know what? They can go advocate for their damn selves, since they're the ones that are nowhere to be found raising a shred of red flag on what in the hell they all witness. See, all of these Scientologists playing dumb. Oh, nobody saw anything. Everybody's so... Playing dumb is their specialty. And thanks to the media, they've been able to launder it. So let's really react to this thiety-weedy, completely corrupt corporate media, performative, investigative journalist of the year from ABC News, Disney, who's been, monetizing the Scientology pain of underage kids for as many ABC people that they can throw themselves, make a segment, and all the segments, all they do is provide cover for the people that are putting kids in harm's way, for the people that America has allowed, has granted permission to circumvent the so-called American Constitution. Slavery has really been abolished, except if you are a Scientology parent and you want to turn your child into a slave and lock him up in a hotel. Then America goes, then we're going to call that a religious experience. It's not longer going to be called slavery if a child is locked up in a hotel with their passport locked up, with PDF files, known PDF files to all the executives, to all the case supervisors, to all the so-called ethics officers. They all know. They all know who they are. They all know what they did. They all have written it inside their PC folder. They all have video recorded these confessions. They're that sick, they're that disgusting, and that are up to their neck and ears in criminality and complicity, of which the Clearwater Police can find nothing, of which the LAPD couldn't be more clueless, or whatever it is that the LAPD is doing with these people. So let's really react to Diddy reporter Dan Harris.
From anybody who leaves the faith. Cut all ties, even with loved ones. But tonight you're going to meet a mother, a longtime Scientologist, who says the church forced her into a choice between her son and her daughter. Part of our series.
See, that's BS pitch number one. Number one, the church forced her. It's the hotel that this woman was going into to really purport that she was getting spiritually wherever in the hell she was getting spiritually. That's for Sarah Goldberg to go make that case. But no one forced these Scientology parents to do anything. They were all given consent forms, lengthy consent forms to sign in full before they did all the services, lengthy arbitration agreements that, guess what? Grown as adults are expected to understand, are capable of. Ring, ring, ring. Let me just call the lawyer here, make sure I'm not going to get effed over by this lengthy contract I'm being given so I can enter the hotel that I really want to go get spiritually somewhere with. And this is what the media has done for all the Scientology parents: purport and treat the Scientology parents as if they're children. Oh, they didn't know. Oh my God, they were forced. You had the option of saying no. You were presented rhetoric, Sarah Goldberg, policy letters that you read during your grooming courses of the convicted felon that you were paying to go study. See, when you pay, it's very hard for you to make the case that it was not done under your consent, given that you did sign the forms, that it was not done under your consent, given that you transferred money, you wired money from your bank account over to the hotel. You were given an invoice, which you also signed, and you were giving a routing form, which you were also signing. How many signatures did you hand over to these people before you decide, I have no shred of a literal clue? But if you give it to Dan Harris, it's all their loved ones. The church really did something. It's the hotel that these adults outsourced all their parental responsibilities, all their parental instincts to a convicted felon. So by all means, Scientology parents, start typing explanations. Start writing it down. Make it make a shred of sense. And try us now that we are not children. Try us now that we're full-grown adults. So we're finally at the level that y'all were when you were abusing us. And ain't nothing has changed inside of their disgusting hotel culture because none of you are calling yourselves out. You couldn't be more out ethics. You couldn't be more the who's and whys. You couldn't be more thiety-weety, all of you in those hotels, really going with the delusion that you're helping save our world while children are getting abused, grossly abused, no less.
Series Faith Matters.
So there you go with the literal ABC. Oh, faith matters. This is a very religious segment we're doing here. Thanks to Dan Harris, because this couldn't be more religious. This couldn't be more all about religion. And, you know, before we get more into it, let's just really plug the celebrities we always name every time we refer to this disgusting hotel culture. Let's really bring up Tom Cruise. Let's bring up Kirstie Alley. Let's bring up John Travolta so we can really monetize this segment to our sponsors, right, Dan? Every time you mention this man's disgusting name, you're making what? Your segment a little bit more what? Sellable for your sponsors that are sponsoring you laundering this image. Imagine that.
This is the image most Americans have of Scientology. High-gloss videos featuring big stars like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Kirstie Alley, who have all publicly lauded the faith, saying it's helped them in their lives.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself.
So, yet again, in what world is Dan Harris with a straight face talking about providing cover and really having to share with the entirety of America how helped Kirstie Alley, how helped this grown-ass man, Tom Cruise, how helped John Travolta had when they had hundreds of underage kids operating as full-blown slaves. Yes, sir, our passports were locked up by our child traffickers. Yes, sir, we couldn't move out of the hotel. Yes, sir, we were 24/7, 365 under surveillance of cameras. But never mind. Tom Cruise has been very, very well helped. And, you know, Dan Harris, this thiety-weety reporter, couldn't wait to tell you all how helped Tom Cruise has been by the hotels of Scientology staffed with underage kids. Scours of kids brought in from all over the literal world. From every other corner of the world, these people siphoned underage kids who they procured very carefully. Don't forget, David Cook had a whole checklist to make sure you really qualify to really save a world. So these weren't just any old child. You had to qualify. And that means your parents had to be in on it. They had to be the financial benefactors of having a dumping ground of a hotel that America has pitched as a very religious place where a lot of religion is taking place. Imagine that. America, by all means, start typing how torturing underage kids is a religious experience. We cannot wait to hear from the judges of this country that with a straight face can start typing to us, since we ended up in that hotel because judges said that, okay, well, whatever the IRS did say it must be. And then every single person in this country is running around with critical thinking skills severely compromised. For what? So that y'all can have your little Tom Cruise. Disgusting.
Call yourself. We are the authorities. We are the authorities on the mind.
This woman may have
Imagine that, Tom Cruise. The authorities of the mind and the authorities of getting people off drugs. You couldn't be more gullible. You couldn't be more pathetic if you literally tried. In what world are there hundreds, if not thousands, of underage kids staffing the hotels where you pay to go get serviced? You're the authority of getting people off drugs. Y'all are taking drugs. It's called the invisible Kool-Aid drug punch rhetoric of convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard that lands you delusional AF. You couldn't be more delusional if you tried, Tom Cruise, but I guess everyone at CAA is buying the pitch that Dan Harris is pitching here with a straight face. This couldn't be more religious. This couldn't be more faith related. Faith really matters, right? It's all about faith. It's all about a scam that all of these MFers are running so that they can live out their delusion. And America is apparently in on it because they have the IRS giving tax write-offs to all of these grown adults going in that hotel to include but not limited to this divulge, self-admit felonies against their Fifth Amendment right? Because that's what the Constitution said. Oh, yeah, you really don't have to incriminate yourself. Well, these people want to incriminate themselves. They get off on incriminating themselves. They get off going into a hotel, sitting down, paying upwards of $500 an hour to tell a child A, B, C, D, E, F, G of a felony they committed, have that felony video recorded, have that felony transcribed, have that felony graded by a case supervisor, so-called case supervisor, who gets a 2-week course in a hotel, and all of a sudden they are there supervising self-admitted felonies that these parents are paying to get off. And then what? Float. You know, technology of L. Ron Hubbard, the convicted felon, really had a great idea. Let's float all the self-admitted felonies that were laundering inside of this hotel. And let's just get the IRS to hook us up while we're at it. And that is what Sarah Goldberg said. That is what my mother said. That's what every single Scientology mother said as they were transferring money from their bank account, giving it to this hotel, and locking themselves up in a room, including but not limited to with underage kids who were groomed with dolls to be doing such interrogations, to be creating that type of content. Because don't forget, this was all content related. Why? Because it was all being video recorded. It was all being scripted. The course rooms is where you will be learning the script, being taught by underage kids on what to be doing. Oh yeah, grab this doll, really drill it with a doll, really make it a clay demo, really get some mass, is what these MFers told you with a straight face. Yeah, get some mass on this because L. Ron Hubbard had a great idea. Well, go double check the great ideas L. Ron Hubbard had. Scientology parents, every single last one of you, go double check your bulletins, go reread them, and go really figure it out. What in the hell? Because the rhetoric was your drug. You infantilize yourself. You outsource all your adult choices to a convicted felon that was running a disgusting hotel. And all of you just, can't wait to pitch yourselves as the next victims. Imagine that.
Have a less recognizable face, but she was a long-time member, now coming forward with a very different story about Scientology.
I'm speaking out now because I don't want this to happen to other people. I don't want this to happen to other families.
Sarah Goldberg, blame.
What don't you want to happen to other people and to other families, Sarah Goldberg? Because that would be great for you to start explaining. That would be great for you to start writing down. What exactly is it that you don't want to happen to other families? Because just look what you've done to your own kids. As if you're not just one of these generic Scientology mothers. All our mothers are in that same boat. Y'all were paying to be on a boat. And as of the year 2024, none of you have figured out a shred of thing that you should have really repudiated while you were absolutely all about that culture, paying for that culture to exist. There's money that you put into this. So you did put your money where your mouth is. All of you Scientology mothers, put your money where your mouth is. And you also put your kids what your mouth is. And that's what in the hell is getting called out. Because in what world are all these Scientology parents just getting covered by the media, by Dan Harris? Oh yeah, they really thought they were doing something religious, you guys. But really what? Stop what? What needs to be stopped, according to you, Sarah Goldberg? Because it'd be great for you to start figuring that out now and then doing something about it so it stops, so other kids are not getting hurt. That would be a great start if any of you gave an F about any of those kids that are in there ensnared with the mothers, the Scientology mothers doing the exact stupid decisions, exact disgusting things that all of you did with a straight face while you were in those hotels as grown adults that you all are. That would be a very, very great start.
Blames the church for breaking apart her family. Effectively, she says, forcing her to choose between her son and her daughter.
No mother should ever have to make that choice. They were giving me a Sophie's choice, and it's
no mother should have made the choice of trafficking their kid. The Sophie's choice you gave yourself is putting your kids in those hotels, grooming your kids with the language so that they could become fair game targets for the people that were thirsty to grab them inside of those hotels. Sarah Goldberg, stop being feety-weety. Start confronting a shred of evil. You and every last shred of Scientology mother out there. Start confronting yourselves. Go look in a mirror. Because apparently all you can do is project and pretend that, everything happened in a vacuum and I couldn't have been more put in a Sophie's choice. Who placed the kids inside of the hotel to be put into a Sophie's choice? Imagine you're a mother and you only go to a hotel where there's going to be a gun and you bring your kids because you're like, yeah, you're going to have a great time with us. Let's just all go there. So you knowingly locked yourself up in that hotel with dangerous people, Sarah Goldberg. Every last shred of Scientology executive couldn't be more deranged, couldn't be more diluted, couldn't be more dangerous. And if you haven't connected that dot, then literally nothing can be done to help you.
And it's not right.
Goldberg says she spent 36 years in the church, which was founded by science fiction writer L. Ron.
36 years. It's called skin in the literal game. It's called you don't come back from 36 years and then decide, whoopsie doopsie, I am now a new person that has nothing to do with anything. And I'm just now going to go be part of the nothing to do with me club because, everybody else did something to me and I had no shred of a clue and I couldn't be more infantile again. Scientology parents, you were infantile the whole time you had us as kids. You adulticized us and forced us and burdened us with being the adults in the room while having to play your infantile games that you were all getting off on.